Welcome back to AJ Kitchen Paper. I'm Asset, this is Oats. Now let's take a look at pork miso soup.
Let's go!
We're going to start off today by prepping our vegetables. So, grab a very well proportioned carrot and chop it in half. And then with some dark magic that would have gotten you thrown away in the 1600s, peel it up and then chop it up. Make sure that everything's nice and thin so everything cooks real fast for you. And pop those off to the side because it's time for daikon. So grab a full daikon, chop him in half, and then again magically peel him and slice him into very thin slices. And then off to the side with those boys because it's time for leeks. Now just chop off the white bit because for some reason the Japanese have decided that, the green bit isn't very edible. And then slice on the diagonal for fancy boy times. Off to the side. Now then grab a couple of shiitake mushrooms, cut off the stems and then slice into lovely thin slices. And off to the side with those boys. Alright, this is cognac. If you've never smelt this before, have a good time. It does smell real gross, I'm going to be honest with you, but it tastes really good. So, and then chop into fine slices. Maybe wash your hands after too. And into a bowl for a little bit later. By the way, always buy Gunma cognac because that's where Oats is from and therefore the best. Cold, hard facts, ladies and gentlemen. Now that you've officially started a flame war between China and Gunma, let's get stuck into chopping up our pork. Today we are using pork belly, which, despite the high fat count, is real good in this soup, so I highly recommend it. However, if you're looking for a better protein to fat ratio, I'd recommend using roast. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is prep done. Good job. Now that you've shown off your hard work, let's move over to the flame. In a small fry pan, heat up a half a tablespoon of sesame oil. Now once you're sure it's nice and warm and nicely covered, shove in your carrots. Now let's quickly fry these boys off. So once these guys go just that tiny bit soft, chuck in your pork. And then mix these boys up so everybody gets to know each other and is touching the bottom of the pan. And you just want to cook this boy through until everybody's nice and browned off. And then over to your pot. Chuck in your pre-sauteed carrots and pork. And then on a high heat, chuck in a litre of water. Now notice how I said water and not dashi stock. Reason why? We're going to make the dashi stock using this dashi tea bag. Once it's gone a bit, take off all the scum from the top there. Bye boys. And then throw in your cognac. And after rinsing your hands a little bit, throw in your mushies, which will also help create a beautiful dashi stock, along with your daikon and all of your onions, which for whatever reason we didn't film, but that's fine. Bring everybody to the boil and give everybody a nice stir. Take out your dashi tea bag, and once he's been chucked in the bin, 1 tablespoon of mensu or Japanese soup base, 1 tablespoon of mirin, or 1 part rice wine vinegar to 1 part sugar. And lastly, chuck in your leeks. Now that all of your ingredients have joined the party, like they would in a JRPG, give everybody a nice simmer and a stir until everyone's nice and soft. Now grab a half a ladleful of miso, and then you just want to dissolve it very slowly so there's no lumps of miso anywhere. Give everybody a nice mix and a stir, and then a taste test as well. And you're just going to keep doing this until you feel like it's miso enough. Alright, time to plate up. In a small, very traditionally lacquered bowl, add in a couple ladlefuls of your soupy soup. Now, of course, this is a very brown looking dish, so add a few spring onions on there, along with a few hearty shakes of shichimi. And there you have it, a perfect bowl of tonjiru, or miso pork soup. Get a nice close-up for that thumbnail. Our drink for tonight is a tiny Asahi Dry, to go along with our tiny bowl. These tiny beers are actually supposed to go on people's memorials or butsudam. You might have seen them in anime. They're meant to be offering for people who have passed away. But I think Oats' liver just got a little bit sick of him drinking a full beer every night. Time for a taste test. Now I can tell you that a lot of recipes will just be like, bung it all into the pot, hope for the best, it'll be fine. But taking that extra 5 minutes to just cook up your carrots and the pork, it really does make a world of difference. It does 2 things. 1, it makes sure that your carrots are nice and crunchy. And 2, it renders out some of the fat from the pork, giving you all of that wonderful flavour from the pork, but without that oily, heavy aftertaste. Now, of course, you can always just eat this on its own as a full meal. However, of course, cooking up some beautiful rice in your donabe and pairing it with some pickles or some salad, or even some lightly grilled fish, then you'll be having a whale of a time. But however you decide to cook this, send us a message or leave us a comment down below to tell us how you went. Alrighty, Rooski, now I think it's time for myself to grab a bowl. Till next time.